play it cool.
Chapter 1. I'll make it, Jack told himself, the way he'd said it 100 times now. If I keep going, I'll make it through. He needed to believe that, even though there was a good chance it wasn't the truth, even though he couldn't remember why it was so important anymore. The long run across the vast swath fields around him was about more than just endurance. It was about tricking then to the next. It was that Jack knew. He knew that he had to run. He knew that hunters would be following the same way they had been following ever since he had woken up in a cave full of bodies back in the city. Jack had crawled out of that, clutching the short, stabbing sword he now held like a talisman. And it might not even be mine, Jack said to the air around him. The sword was standard enough, a leaf-shaped blade as long as a man's forearm, with a leather-wrapped hilt. Military issue, according to one of the corners. Prisoners chained together. This one stood solitary, and Jack stared up at the metal framework stretching so far into the sky. No, he couldn't believe that was true. The royalty of his own time ordered their rather than risk looking like he was trying to sneak in to steal from the place. If it had survived out here with nothing around it, it wasn't much of a start, but it was something. He stepped into the house. It wasn't in much better repair on the inside than the outside.